Maria was a Mexican woman. She had just moved to Paris to make her dreams come true. She didn't know much of France and she was lost, asking for directions but no one noticing, ignoring her, until she arrived to the legendary library Shakespeare Company. Maria used to spend hours in the public library in the city of Mexico, so it occurred to her she could work there as long as she needed. A middle-aged woman called Sylvia Beach welcomed her. Maria would soon know that the woman she had just encountered was an outstanding woman in the world of literature. Maria asked for the job, which was given to her with pleasure. Sylvia was curious about Maria. She looked like a foreign girl, so she didn't fear to ask what was her story. Maria, doubting whether to tell her or not, finally decided to tell her story.
I used to write articles for a famous newspaper in Mexico. I didn't agree with what the government was doing to my people, so I wrote an article about the president. He didn't like it much, so he banished me from Mexico and now I'm staying here.
Sylvia was astonished by her story, feeling compassion for her and hoping her to be a talented woman. She allowed her to take all the books she needed and offered her a place to stay while she stayed there. Maria was very grateful to her and accepted the offer. After some days passed, new visitors came to the library. The famous writer Fitzgerald and his wife entered with smiley faces to the place. The Fitzgeralds, always too happy and in love to reveal, Maria was astonished to see them there, not knowing what to do next. On the other hand, when Sylvia saw them there, she welcomed them with a big smile. The three of them walked through the books to find a nice arranged table at the end of the room. The couple sat comfortably. Sylvia called Maria to introduce herself to the couple. Expecting more guests, Maria said to herself and ran to the door to see who was coming in. The young Hemingway had just arrived. At the time Maria saw him, she had already fallen in love with him. They both stared to each other for what seemed to be a long time, until Sylvia arrived to interrupt the moment.
Ernest, glad you came.
Hi.
Hi.
Who's this young lady?
Oh, this is Maria. She's a writer from Mexico. Maria, this is Ernest Hemingway. Do you have heard of him before?
Of course I have heard of him. Such a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, and please call me Ernest.
Okay. Hey, why don't you join us?
Oh, So Maria joined these famous European writers in their fancy gathering. Maria tells her story again to all the poets in the gathering. Hemingway was impressed with her story and said,
"Oh Maria, that's an iridescent story. I would be pleased to read your story."
Sure.
Hemingway usually didn't read others' work. He claimed that he hated them already, because either they were too bad and pitiful or they were so good he would envy them. But he felt an strange mixture of feelings towards this new lady and wanted to know more about her, so he made an exception with her. The next day, Hemingway and Fitzgerald reunited at Shakespeare Company for an early coffee chit-chatting. Lost in her own mind, Hemingway stared at her directly now and then, but Fitzgerald caught him in the act.
I think you enjoy tequila now.
Of what are you talking about?
You know what they say, since the first drop you taste, you can't stop later.
Stop the nonsense, Fitz.
Come on, even a fool would notice. You've had tons of women in your life, and you've never acted like this.
Like what?
In love.
As weeks passed, Hemingway and Maria worked many times together, writing and talking, helplessly falling in love for each other. Hemingway trusted her with his life and told her things that he had never told to anyone.
When I went to the First World War and I saw my friends dying, my life changed intensely, more than I like to admit. It's weird, you know? I have never told this to anyone, nor even to Fitz. I don't know, when you're around me, life seems happier, lighter.
I found your books that you asked for me. So here is Good Night, Dead in the Clouds, and the Dunham manuscript.
Thank you very much, Lydia.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
and Aaron seem like a good couple.
I don't know, we have been distant these past months. I thought, well, maybe I hope his love for me was real, but I think I was just another of his multiple girls.
Oh, I don't think so. See how pathetic he looks. That's how a person in love looks. Crazy and stupid. We are all fools in love, Maria. And Aaron is not the exception. He had never felt this kind of love for anyone. Just let him end this depression phase and he will again be yours.
Does he have these kind of breakdowns very often?
Yes, and they are more constant now. As you know, his creations are not as successful as he wished, and his mind is blocked at the moment, so he can write nothing.
The next day, Zelda and Fitzgerald decided to take a walk. It all started very romantic and sweet, but by the end of the evening, they were fighting and yelling at each other. So Zelda, full of despair, runs drunk and dizzy to the library, where she finds Hemingway reading quietly a book.
Ernest, Peter and I got into a huge fight. He doesn't love me anymore.
Come on, sit here. Don't worry, darling. Please, he's a great husband, and married couples fight all the time. Don't worry. And your love, it's enormously big.
Maria, awakened by the loud noise, came to see what was happening. When Maria saw his love laying in the ground, without hesitation she ran to him.
Are you okay? What happened?
This traitor was putting his hands on my wife.
Is that true, Aaron?
That's not true, Fields. I was reminding her your love.
My love, how could you think that? I will always love you.
As months passed, Maria's work started gaining success, and a very important work at Mexico was offered to her. She didn't want to leave Hemingway, but she knew it would be the best for both if she left as soon as possible. When she gave the news to all her poet friends, they were really happy for her, except for Hemingway. He remained steady as a rock, without saying a word. It looked like if he wasn't breathing either.
Ernest, can I talk with you? Aaron, you don't need to say anything. It will only make it harder for both of us.
No, but I have to. I need to tell you this. I need you to hear me saying this. Since the moment I met you, you put my world upside down. With you, I tasted the joys of true love. I never thought I could be happy with only one woman. I know I am not enough for you. You deserve better. So that is the very reason I am letting you go. But this moment will last forever in both of our minds. I won't bother you anymore, so it is easier for both to move on. I will never forget you, Maria. You're very passionate and full of vibrating energy that flutters my soul. And this is why I trust you will be a great writer.